with. And helping the bloke called Dom saw. He's doing it. But this is actually this and all the scenery and everything else. It's about 50, 60 quid.
That arrow has to be pointing into the person.
And about 5 hours painting.
And that arrow is definitely 100% not pointing into that person.
You don't need.
Yeah.
So, if we go through the forces, yeah? Each force has a Locidus, which is the force commander, on this side, strange enough, who look vaguely like Spartans, because they probably are. That's the chap with the spear. The one next to him in the Lenothorax, yeah. He's your Polymus, he's the second in command, he's a hero. Whereas the Locidus is actually the force commander, he can actually turn around and tell people to do things. The Locidus isn't, but he's a hero, he will fight. He will stand out front and actually lead the way and go, come on guys. You've got heavy hoplites, which are easy to spot because they're the ones I've got in the armour. And these are hoplites. And then you got, oh gosh, this is now where my appalling pronunciation is. You've got 2 units of polymos. Now, polypyrus. These are unarmoured hoplites. These are basically the hoplites you will always see in Greeks. Everyone thinks, oh, they're wearing, brass crasses and that. Most of them fought that, especially in the Peloponnesian Wars, which is this base band. They're medium hoplites actually in the game. There are a lighter version of them, which there's an even lighter version. Technically, they should have very little on at all, other than the shield and the spear. They can form a phalanx, which is what, really and truthfully, what you expect Greeks to fight. Even though you've got different types here, the 3 units need to come together to be in one unit. They're all actually classified as a phalanx. If all the armour, the heavy ones, are all come together, there'll be a heavy phalanx. They're meaty. The normal phalanx are pretty good as well. You also got, on top of that, you've got these guys here, who are my personal favourites, because these are the peltas, and they're good in this SPQR as well. Now, peltas are basically light infantry, except from they fight like hoplites, but they're paper tigers. If you hit them, they will disintegrate. But they're fast, they run round, they throw javelins, and they can hurt. And then, like I said, then you've got a little bit of missile in slingers or in archers on the other side. The other side's exactly the same. You got the very first model configure that was done by Bill Thornhill. He's the Locidus on this side. And then you've got your second Polymus, or first one. And then you've got all the others are exactly the same there. It should be identical. So you've got your heavy hoplites, the medium hoplites in their little dresses. I think they're called togas or something. And then more peltas, because I like peltas. Think of javelin men that can actually fight. They're coming out soon, Thracians, because they're basically Thracians used these. They're a completely light army, but they will hurt. These guys, in reality, what they did is they took the flanks up. So when the hoplites went in, it's these are the guys that stood on the flanks, and they hurt they'll break the actual phalanx. Because what they do is they'll throw javelins at it on the side, then they'll hit in from the side and behind. And every phalanx is awful from behind. And then you got archers. Now, if that's a Spartan army, they shouldn't really have any missile weapons. So we can say they're Cretians. These are obviously from Athens. That's okay. They like archers. That's the simple. Playing the game is actually really simple. Got custom dice, always. ways. But you've got 2 swords, 1 sword, a shield, and Pegasus. Pegasus is wild cards. Shields are armour, which are good when you're rolling defence. Swords are the number of attacks. Now, the Pegasus, the wild card, can actually work both ways. For most people, it's a positive, especially your heroes. Your heroes are pumping out 5 of these dice. Or, as I was playing Jason yesterday, 6 of them. Yeah. Now, if I do an average roll, this will just say this is an attack, yeah? What you do is you actually get someone who can roll dice, first off. But if it's the hero, those Pegasus is classified as hits. It's what makes the hero really important. So both the actual leader and the actual heroes can both do that. Some of the other units will actually also allow Pegasus to be pluses.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I'm trying to figure out what one we haven't. There are also, where the Pegasus is red, that's a negative, so that actually cancels out hits. I can't remember if we've got any here or actually playing or not. So that's basically it. To attack, just if you look on the cards, say an average hoplite's got an attack of 4, so you just, all you do, 4 attacks. If the hero is close to him, within 6 inches, gets an extra buff. That tells me that I managed to hit twice. Now, before I roll the dice, we should go, yes, do you want to activate here to defend yourself? Now, you have an active defence and a passive defence. Your heavy hoplites have got, what, 2 of these dice. Your medium hoplites have got 1 of those dice, along also with your peltas. Your archers and that don't have any dice at all because they've got no armour. But if you choose to go, yeah, all right, I pull that out, I defend. You defend on your actual, what's called resilient defence, which in most cases is around about 2 or 3, depending on what it is. If they're heavy hoplites, it's 4 dice. If they're medium hoplites, they're 3. If they're peltas, it's 3. And all you're doing is, so got 2 attacks, and you're looking for something that actually has the word shield on. So let me just do that for an instance. Oh, by the magic of thing. Now, all that does is goes, boom, got a shield, and it takes off 1 of the attacks. And then all they do is the last thing, hopefully, it comes up with a sword. That means it causes a wound. You've got a thing called resilience on there. Basically, think of it, every character's got a number of wounds, actually similar to that. So I've got 3 people on that base. Basically, you've got a total of 9 wounds on that base, on one of those bases. As soon as it goes to 3, you can take pop one of these off. They actually do a nice little range of casualty figures, so you can put the casualty figure in, so you don't have a space on the on there. But you put one of them off, that reduces the number of attacks and things. It's on the card itself. And then they just carry on fighting in a reduced way. The game is quite simple. There are in the book 36 different scenarios you can actually do. And the game is a scenario-driven game. It's not, I set up my forces, you set up your forces, and then you go like that. You can. One of the scenarios is that. One of the scenarios is the first person to kill the other side's hero. One of them is actually trying to actually cause as much damage to a force. Some of them are, I'll take that, I am holding that, and then everyone else is trying to attack it. So it's scenarios and things around that. But I think really and truthfully, the actual tasting is actually in the play. I haven't mentioned these, have I?
Not yet, no.
No. These, I think, are the nicest thing. These are D6. Yeah. But in the game, they are normal D6. I've got 1 6 on it, nothing's more amazing than that. But in the game, they actually become the token, so you can track your wounds and stuff. And And that's Mark Farr, who actually is one of the guys on it. They don't like it. The reason for the cards and everything is you can put everything and track everything on your cards so it's not cluttered up on the field. We can clutter up instead of the dice. But there's nothing stopping you. If you want to put dice on there, if you want to put your counter to say, oh, I've activated that, that's yours, that's your game. But it's, it's a dead simple game.
No, you don't like me, I don't like this.
The hard part comes in, and I haven't mentioned gifts and stuff, but the hard part comes in actually, you can endow your units, your heroes, and everything else with special abilities and gifts during the game, because everything, all these tokens live in here. You just pull them out. You take one, I take one, like that. These pull out the fate cards, the omen cards, which are there, and every time you pull one of them, they will give a bonus or a negative. Some are good, some are very good, some are very bad. Some will affect everyone, but in general what happens is they all, as soon as the turn's finished, and that's when you pull the third one of these out, that's it, they go. Not unless it says something on the card itself where it says carries on in play, only once used, discard, and things like that. And that's that. And the rest will play.